皆さんおはようございます。Thank you for joining me. This is the Easy Japanese News article of the day for December 18th, 2025. 2025年12月18日の記事でございます。So for our title today, we have 11月に日本に来た外国人、中国人は 3% 増えただけ。So 11月にSo this ni is telling us what time it is, and 11月 is November. So in November, and 日本に来た外国人. So 外国人 is our main noun here, which is foreigners. And then 日本に来た comes from 日本に来る to come, and then the past tense. So 日本に来た外国人, foreigners who came to Japan in November. We have a space here, and then our topic here is 中国人は 3% 増えただけ. So 中国人 is Chinese people, and は is our main topic. 3% 増えた. So 増える is for something to increase. This is in the past tense, so it has increased by 3%. 3% 増えた. But we have this だけ at the end, and that dake means only. So it has only increased by 3%. And as we see in the article, that's not a very big number. They were expecting more. So, 11月に日本に来た外国人, foreigners that came to Japan in November. 中国人は 3% 増えただけ. When it comes to Chinese people, among those foreigners that came to Japan, they only increased by 3%. Okay, here is our vocabulary list from the article. We have 増える is to increase. 旅行 is travel. 政府 is the government. 観光局 is a tourism organization. There's going to be the name of a specific organization we'll talk about in the article. But this one, this kyoku kanji at the very end there, that just means like some sort of organization or bureau, normally within the government. So 観光局 would be the tourism organization. We have 中旬. So 中, you see this 中 means middle, and then 中, this kanji, you can add it after a few different kanji to mean different things. So 中旬 means the middle, and when you add the June kanji after the chu, that means the middle of the month. So in Japanese, you can kind of split the days or split the months into 10-day portions. So you have Jojun, which is the top 10 days or the first 10 days. The kanji for that is like the ue kanji. So that's Jojun. Then we have Chujun, which is like the middle of the month. And then the Gejun, which is the kanji for like below or underneath. So you have the top 10 days, the middle 10 days, and the lower 10 days. So Chujun means just in the middle of the month, those middle 10 days. Then we have yobikakeru is to address or to call out to someone. And then shunsetsu is the Chinese New Year or Spring Festival, sometimes called Spring Festival. And then we have 注目する, which is for something or to pay attention to something, for something to have the spotlight on it.
今年1月から11月までに日本に旅行に来た外国人は3900万人以上で、今までで一番多くなりました。この中で11月の1ヶ月に中国から来た人は56万人ぐらいでした。日本政府観光局によると、最近は前の年と比べて 10% 以上増えていました。しかし、11月は 3% 増えただけでした。中国の政府が11月中旬に日本に行くのをやめてほしいと呼びかけたためのようです。いつもの年は中国の休み、春節の時にたくさんの人が中国から日本に来ます。旅行の会社は2月の春節に中国人が 日本に来るかどうか注目しています。
All right, let's jump right into our article here.
今年1月から11月までに日本に旅行に来た外国人は3900万人以上で、今までで一番多くなりました。
Okay, so 今年1月から11月までに、so 今年 this year, 1月から would be 1月 January, から from, and then 11月 November までに until, so from January until November of this year, 日本に旅行に来た外国人. So this is all describing our type of 外国人 here. So foreigners, 外国人 who 日本に旅行に来た. So foreigners who came to Japan for travel, 旅行. は, so that's our main topic. Foreigners who came to Japan for travel from January to November of this year. は3900万人以上で. So this de is like the te form of des. So it's saying this is this, and we're also going to continue the sentence. So the number of foreigners that we just explained, right? Those foreigners is, okay, so we got 1 man, which is 10,000. Then we got 100,000, million, and 10 million. So 39 million. And then 以上 is or more. So the number of foreigners who came to Japan for travel between these 10 months here is 39 million で、今までで up to the current point, or up to now, 今 now, まで up to, 今までで、一番 the number one or the most 多くなりました. So we use 多い, which is a lot or a ton, and then we connect that to くなる to be like it has become the biggest number. So that turned into the biggest number that we've ever seen as far as number of tourists who visit Japan for travel.
この中で11月の1ヶ月に中国から来た人は56万人ぐらいでした。
この中で So この中で from among this huge group of foreigners 11月の1ヶ月に So 11月 there's nothing in between there, so this is just going to be November, but then we have 1ヶ月. This か is telling it's a time period, so 1月 would be January. 1ヶ月 is going to be a period of 1 month. So the period of 1 month of November, or the month of November に中国から来た人は So 中国から来た人 人 described by 中国から来た So the people that came from China は56万人ぐらいでした. So 56万 would be 560,000. So 560,000 people ぐらい around. So the number of people who came from China just in November alone was around 560,000.
日本政府観光局によると、最近は前の年と比べて 10% 以上増えていました。
Okay, 日本政府観光局によると So 日本政府観光局 I believe is the Japan National Tourism Organization. Yep. So 観光 is tourism, and then 観光局 is the organization. And then によると is according to. So according to the Japan National Tourism Organization. 最近は recently 前の年と比べて So 比べる is to compare. And if we want to continue our sentence, we'll have that in the te form. So 前の年と比べて we're comparing it to 前の年 So 前の年, previous or earlier year. So compared to the previous year, 10% 以上増えていました。So 10% 以上, 10% or more, 増えていました。So 増える is to increase, and then we have that on the ている form here, or ている past tense to say it was increasing. So recently, it had been increasing by about 10% every year when you compared it to the previous year.
しかし、11月は 3% 増えただけでした。
しかし, however, 11月は so November it was 3% 増えただけでした。So 3%, 3% 増えた increased, and then だけ is only. So it was an increase of only 3%. And it was supposed to be around 10%. That's normal, but yeah, the amount that it was increasing by decreased, right?
中国の政府が11月中旬に日本に行くのをやめてほしいと呼びかけたためのようです。
Okay, so 中国の政府が so 中国の政府中国 China, and then 政府 is the government が11月中旬 so 11月 November, and 中旬 is the middle of the month, so mid-November に so in mid-November 日本に行くのをやめてほしい. So we have 日本に行くの, the thing of going to Japan, using our no here to turn that verb 行く into a noun. のをやめてほしい. So we have a verb with てほしい. That means we want someone to do something. And in this case, it is we want them to stop. So the Chinese government in mid-November wants people to stop going to Japan と呼びかけた. So 呼びかける is to make a call out or to tell a lot of people. So here they told people they do not want them going to Japan. And then ため. So what this ため is telling us a reason. And this ため actually connects to why this number changed. So the reason that the number of Chinese tourists is still increased, but it's getting less and less, is because in mid-November, the Chinese government said that they don't want people traveling to Japan. And then this no yo desu is it seems that way. So it seems like this number is getting smaller because the Chinese government said they don't want people going to Japan.
いつもの年は中国の休み、春節の時にたくさんの人が中国から日本に来ます。
Okay, so いつもの年は So いつも is always, or you can also translate this as like a normal. So in a normal year, いつもの年は中国の休み, 中国 China, and then this no is saying it owns it, so Chinese, and then 休み is holiday, so the Chinese holiday, 春節, which is Chinese New Year, or the Spring Festival, and then の時に, so at the time of the Chinese holiday, the Chinese New Year, たくさんの人が, so たくさんの人, a lot of people, が中国から from China, 日本に来ます. So a lot of people will come from China to Japan.
旅行の会社は2月の春節に中国人が日本に来るかどうか注目しています。
Okay, so 旅行の会社は So 旅行 is once again travel, and then 会社 would be agencies or companies, right? So travel companies or travel agencies は2月の春節に So 2月 is February, and 春節 is the Chinese New Year. So the Chinese New Year in February, and then during that is what that ni is saying, or in that time or at that time. 中国人が so 中国人 Chinese people 日本に来るかどうか so 日本に来る to come to Japan. And then this かどうか here is whether or not. So you add it after a phrase, and that means whether or not something is true. So, and then we have the final verb here, 注目しています. So 注目する is to pay close attention to. So, excuse me. Travel companies are paying close attention to whether or not Chinese people will come to Japan during the Chinese New Year in February. And that is it for our article today. And yes, if you're wondering, this was in a previous article, but there's been some little bit of friction between China and Japan recently with some different disputes about aircraft, and then also Taiwan. Japan has basically said China better not do anything about Taiwan or we would have to get involved. So that's kind of rustled some feathers. And so now there's a little bit of friction going on. Hopefully that all clears up without anything getting too bad. But that's kind of the situation that we're in with Japan and China right now. So anyway, thank you so much for being here for this article. I apologize. I have a little bit of a nasty throat and cough and sniffling and all that stuff. But hopefully I get better soon so I can keep up these videos for you guys. Thank you so much for the new subscribers. We've had quite a few in the past week or so. So thank you so much for being here. And I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you do, please like and subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified every weekday when we upload these videos. And I will plan on seeing you tomorrow. また明日